guys! So my name is Kelly and I'm here today to talk to you about my cultural event that I analyzed for my field report. So I decided to choose a concert which I went to with my mom and my sister, and it was an Alan Doyle and the Beautiful Gypsies concert back in February at the First Ontario Performing Arts Centre. So in case any of you don't know who Alan Doyle is, he used to be one of the lead singers of Great Big Sea, and he has since gone off on his own for his solo career. Alan Doyle and Great Big Sea have a folky sound, and they're from Newfoundland, so they're proudly Canadian, and I've loved them ever since I was a little kid. But I'm here today to talk about the analysis of this event and how we can tie it back to what we've studied so far. So the two articles I want to discuss in this analysis are Jack Santino's performative commemoratives, The Personal and the Public, as well as Victor Turner's article on liminality and communitas. So I'm going to talk about Turner's article first, and he has several awesome quotes that discuss the rites of passage and liminality that are super helpful for this analysis of the concert. So the first quote I want to discuss is when he writes, the first phase of separation comprises symbolic behavior signifying the detachment of the individual or group, either from an earlier fixed point in the social structure, from a set of cultural conditions, a state, or from both. So this is talking about when the audience comes into the faux pack and they're standing in the lobby waiting to get into the theater, which gives everyone an opportunity to look around and check out the other concert goers and what they might be wearing for that night. So once you get into the theater and into your seats, it becomes a different story because you don't really get a chance to look around and judge anyone else, and instead you kind of become equalized. And that speaks to the quote when it says the detachment of the individual from their social standing. So to continue with Turner, he says that during the intervening liminal period, the characteristics of the ritual subject, the passenger, are ambiguous. He passes through a cultural realm that has few or none of the attributes of the past or coming state. And he also continues and says, in the third phase, reincorporation, the passage is consummated. And this, he is discussing that when you pass through this cultural realm, it is completely different from the state that you were in and the state that you will be in. So for example, the concert. This state is like its own little world where it has its own rules that you have to get used to, and once you're inside the theater, once you walk in, you're engaging with this cultural event and these specific rites of passage that is the ritual of the concert of Alan Doyle. Turner also continues when he says that the audience member, so he, is expected to behave in accordance with certain customary norms and ethical standards binding social position in a system of such positions. And that's talking about how basically when you come into the theater that normally holds audiences for, say, the symphony, it's considered a more proper theater space or concert hall. So everyone there has their own seats and they're expected to show their ticket to the usher and then sit in the assigned seats that they've paid for. And this is very different from a concert which would be held outside, where you can bring your own blanket and sit on the ground or a lawn chair. And each venue that you go to for a concert has a very different set of rules. In this particular concert hall, you can't just go sit wherever you like or wander in the aisles. You're expected to sit in your seat for the entire concert. And if you do have to go to the washroom, you have to be let out by an usher and can only be let back in during certain appropriate times that it's not, you're not going to disturb any other audience members. And this is very, very similar to any theater event that you go to. Turner continues and he says that as liminal beings, they have no status, property, insignia, secular clothing indicating rank or role, position in a kinship system. And once the audience goes inside the theater or concert hall, and once the concert starts, the lights go out. And that is the point of the liminal phase, which is the state of being that everyone is equal, as I mentioned earlier. Turner then goes on to explain communitas, which is a Latin term, and it talks about how social relationship from an area of common living, as well as a matter of giving recognition to an essential or generic human bond, without which there could be no society. So when the lights go out and everyone has become equal, that's when the sense of communitas happens. And it allows the audience to bond. During Alan Doyle concerts, people stand up and dance, and they sing along and shout their hearts out, and people end up making friends with the people around them, and it's a very friendly atmosphere. This bonding happens at every single Alan Doyle concert or Great Big Sea concert that I've ever been to, and therefore those bands have gained an audience base that not only falls in love with the music, but also the safe sense of community that is always present at their concerts. So just to wrap up, one of the last things I want to talk to you about is the aspect of ritual. So Jack Santino discusses that ritual is done before an audience performed in an institutionalized context, such as universities or museums, for people unfamiliar with tradition, set out before spectatorship, whose makeup is fluid and unpredictable. So this particular institutionalized place is the concert hall. And it can be argued that the audience who is more used to outdoor events and more relaxed concert halls that have, general or floor seating, which people end up standing, they're not used to the rules or traditions that surround a theater space, such as the First Ontario Performing Arts Centre. But instead, they're used to being able to get up and dance in the aisles and walk closer and dance closer to the stage. Also, the fact that this type of spectatorship or audience is different every time. And for Alan and his band, they never get the same audience twice, and therefore they never know what to expect because the audience is fluid, always changing, and definitely unpredictable. Unfortunately, I didn't get this on film, but there was a point in the concert where this lady just stood up and walked up to the stage and interrupted Alan Doyle, who he always does these interludes between songs where he stands and he chats and he jokes with the audience. During this time, this lady gave him a rose and continued to stand there and talk to him, and then turned around and pointed out her children in the audience. And as a fellow spectator, I wasn't expecting that, and it almost upset me by the fact that she would break the equality that the communitas that everybody had, and interrupt the show. But it made me sit back and think about, why is it not okay just because it's not normal? It doesn't mean she's wrong, it just proves that she's completely unpredictable. And then to go back to Jack Santino, he also discussed how the role of the audience members was transformed from passive observer as at the theater to active participant as at a ritual. And that just talks about how it's a perfect quote, really, because this particular theater or concert hall is used to audiences that come in for the symphony. But this concert is active and engaged, and the audience is ready to go, and therefore transforms this concert into a ritual as opposed to a passive theater event. So just to finish off, because I'm getting real close to time, I'm going to show you the last clip I have, which is Alan Doyle just introducing a song and then singing the beginning of the song, and that'll lead into the credits. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't talk too fast, and I hope that it was informational, and hope you guys have a great day. Okay, bye guys.
Song from Fogo Island is about an artifact that I saw in a museum over there. It tells the true story of how guys went onto the ice and discovered after going out there that they were probably never going to make it home. So they carved a message into a tool and they set it adrift. Because they wanted the folks at home to know they hadn't left them behind. It's called laying down the page. Living isn't easy. iron isn't hard. When the hungriest days of winter plays the wicked cards, I'll not be called a quitter, for I choose to take a leap. 'Cause the ice won't be broken, not by no man, not by me. And now I'm laying down to perish, and God knows where I'll go. Now I'm laying down to perish.